Good mid-morning, YouTube. We got a little bit of a late start today. I know it's been a while since you've seen a video, so we're going to try a new style. We're going to do kind of a vlog kind of format. Let me know what you think. We're going to try a snake method and do 2 racks of baby back ribs. So let's see the setup and see what we got. Alright, to start off the show, I've got a chimney smoker about halfway full of coals, and they're already lit. You can see that. Next, we moved over to the Weber, and I've got my coals arranged with a 2-layer brick all the way around with a single layer on top. And the premise is we're going to dump the hot coals over here and start them burning, and it'll burn all the way around in a ring. And then all I have to do is rotate the grate with my meat on it, and it'll get the smoke, but it won't be in danger of being near the heat. And we're going to go ahead and soak some wood chips so we can put them on top. I prefer chunks, but I couldn't find any in the flavor that I wanted, so we're going to soak those chips so they don't just burn up right away. So stay tuned. And to help make things a little easier, I've got my wood chips soaking in a pasta colander, and I can just lift that up, get to my soaked wood chips, put it back in there when I'm done. Once you use some of the chips up, you can just dump some of the water out. And that'll definitely help you out. Alright, so these coals are hot and ready, so we're going to go ahead and add them to the grill. You can see I did add some dry hickory and my wet apple chips on top, just to kind of give it a little bit more heat to start with. We're going to start with those dry, and then a combination of the wet to incorporate the smoke. So let's go ahead and dump our coals. And I just do a little bit off to the side just to kind of get those other coals started. You can see it's already smoking a little bit right there. So next we'll add our grate. And of course, the star of the show, these beautiful baby back ribs. And we want to make sure we need a nice gap right here in the middle so that everything can get smoked all the way around. And you basically want to keep the fire over there and the meat over here. And the other thing to consider is the opening for the lid needs to be on the opposite side of the fire. So as the fire travels around and you rotate your grate, you want to keep that opening moving around opposite of the fire. And that's pretty much the setup. I am going to run a meat barbecue thermometer in there. The ribs are too thin to put a meat thermometer in, but I can use the thermometer on the barbecue side with my radio unit so I can monitor the temperature inside, because the one on the lid will always be over the top of the fire, so it may not give you the most accurate of readings. And the main reason that I'm using the snake method, where you've seen the charcoal go all the way around, is the Weber came out in like the 50s. I think it was 52. If that's wrong, just correct me down in the comments. But they had 2 basic styles. You could either do the snake, where you put it all the way around, or you could bank all the coals to one side and create a hot and cold side on the grill. So we're trying to get back to the roots here with the Weber, see if it makes a difference. I've done it a couple times before and it seems to work, but I figured I'd document it in this vlog style because I want to try to get into more vlog videos. With everything starting to open up now, maybe we can even visit some barbecue places, maybe get an inside look if they're nice enough to let us bring a camera back there and just let you see what goes into the food that you're making. So, hope you enjoy this. Stay with us. We'll continue to cook It was about 11:10 when I put them on, so I will make sure to remember to give the time estimates on how long it takes to cook. But basically, a cook like this, we're looking somewhere around 6 hours. I want to do a 3-2-1 method. Basically, I smoke them for 3 hours, wrap them in some tinfoil with some parquet, some honey, and some brown sugar instead of using a sauce. Let it kind of create its own sauce. That seems to work around here. They'll be in foil for about 2 hours, maybe an hour 45, something like that. And then we'll take them out of the foil and put them on the grill and let that stuff kind of caramelize. And that might take an hour, 45 minutes, somewhere around there. I will do my best to try to remember to put the times in there that I do everything. So, hope you enjoy. And it's about 2:15-ish right now, so we're going to check on the ribs. And I already kind of took a look at them. What you want to be able to do is pick them up with your tongs. And when you start to see that cracking right there in the ribs, you know they're ready to pull off and wrap. So we'll get these on a pan, get them inside, and show you how I wrap them. Alright, so now we get to the wrapping of the ribs. I use 2 layers of tinfoil, so for 4 sheets that will do 2 racks of ribs. And I do this method and it works pretty well. I start with a base layer of brown sugar. I'm using light brown sugar in this case. Honey, and then parquet. I want that butter to saturate into the meat first to keep it moist, and then the sugar elements to come on top. So we'll take a rack of ribs, and you want to flip it meat side down so that the bones are sticking up here. And then you'll just wrap both double layers, put them back out on the smoker. And you should end up with a tight little package like that. Now with foil, remember there is a shiny side and a dull side. You want to put the dull side to your food. That way the shiny side protects from the heat. And I totally forgot to mention this, but I have been spritzing these ribs about every 10 to 15 minutes while they were cooking the first 3 hours. And if you want to upgrade your spritz game, invest in one of these bad boys. I picked it up at my local dollar store. It's actually a plant sprayer. You can pump it up and it shoots a little mist for watering your plants and stuff. It's got a little pump here. You just pump it up to get the pressure and it spritzes, but it works absolutely fantastic for spritzing ribs or brisket or anything you're putting on the grill that has to have a spritz. So let's go ahead and put the ribs back on the grill for an additional 2 hours in the foil with the brown sugar, the honey, and the parquet. And as you can see, our fire started about here, and in 3 hours it's burned mostly to here. So we're going to add the ribs back to the grill. I wrap them and leave the seam up for the first hour, and then I'll flip them over for the second hour. And I'm going to kind of rotate them around. So where I had one rack here, the rack that was here, I'm going to move to the front, get it a little closer to the heat. And the rib rack that was toward the front, we'll now move that one closer to the back just to get some even cooking. I have to move my probe around. And that's it. We'll just put the lid on it, let them cook for another 2 hours. Then after the first hour, we flip them over, let them finish for the 2 hours, and then we'll let them sit on the grill, meat side up, so that all that goodness can bake in. Alright, so our ribs have been in foil for 2 hours and flipped them over halfway through. And the remainder of the juice from out of the foil, we're going to take that and just drizzle it over the ribs just to help it get that final glaze. And we're going to leave them under the grill for about 45 minutes to an hour. We'll see how it goes. I'll come out and check on them. But that is going to taste absolutely delicious at the end. And a final check on our ribs. Let's go ahead and lift the lid and see what we got. And that is absolutely gorgeous. The sauce has thickened up, tacked up real nice. It's got that nice kind of glaze to it. So we're going to transfer these to a pan and we're going to take them inside. And just as a little side note, in case you were wondering if there was enough charcoal, we started our fire over here and it burned all the way around to here, and we still have about a good 8 to 10 inch section of charcoal. So had we have to run any longer, we would definitely have the fuel to do that. But these are looking good and we're gonna eat. And that is our baby back ribs done with the snake method on the Weber grill. So now we're just gonna slice them up and serve. I usually try to follow along the bones, but these are so tender, they are absolutely just falling apart as I try to cut them, as you can see. But I definitely am not complaining. Alright, so I was trying to figure out how to do this vlog style where I hold the camera, but these ribs need 2 hands. So there's the one I'm going to taste. Falls right off the bone. Sweet, smoky flavor. Can't go wrong. And it's currently 5:45. 6 hours of your time. Phenomenal product. Definitely recommend you give this one a try.